Hello, I'm Luke Hatfield, alongside me Chief Sports Writer of the Express Star, Matt Maher. I'm going to have a go at it. The Karaiskakis Stadium. Yeah, the home of Olympiacos. That's where we are.
I think your first attempt off camera was probably better.
Probably was.
Probably more accurate.
Either way, we're here. A lot of questions to be asked about this game.
Wolves aren't here yet.
No, they're not
They're
here
still
yet.
in transit. They'll be in Athens in a couple of hours. They won't be training at this stadium. There won't be any fans in this stadium tomorrow.
The big question is whether
there will be two teams, which is didn't looked a possibility that there wouldn't be any game going ahead at all. So it's been an unusual build-up to say the least.
Yeah, is it one that's going to cause a bit of confusion in Wolves' ranks? Do you think, Matt?
I don't know. I mean, we'll find out tomorrow. It's not a particularly great situation for anybody to be in. I mean, you look at it from Olympiacos' point of view. Pedro Martins just sat in his press conference. Their manager, and he's talking of their fans and what a kind of a big impact they can have. An intimidating atmosphere that there simply isn't going to be tomorrow night. So Olympiacos, of course, have lost out. But then, from Wolves' point of view, they obviously appealed for this game to be postponed after, the owner of Olympiacos, Evangelos Marinakis, was diagnosed with coronavirus, and yesterday, Tuesday, to date this, I thought there was only one option, and that was for this game to be called off. But UEFA wanted it played. That confirmation came through last night, and then this morning Olympiacos have said that all the tests, all their players and staff have been tested for coronavirus. They've all come back negative. So Pedro Martins made the case that look, you've got to trust the experts, you've got to trust the scientists in these positions. If they say it's safe, then to play, then we have to. Then we have to play it, but I mean it does feel like there's a lot that's been ripped out of this occasion. No fans. The argument is if a game is played behind closed doors with no fans, does it actually happen? Does it actually take place? I mean, no pre-match press conference from Wolves. That they're taking every measure possible to limit the risks. So Nuno and Cody did interviews at Compton Park this morning before they flew out, and those quotes have just been circulated around the media. So I mean it's strange. It was a really strange build-up, and I just really don't know what it's going to feel like tomorrow. I've never watched a game behind closed doors before. Well, the equivalent of maybe a very quiet under-23 fixture, but this is going to be quite weird, and it's impossible to know who it's going to benefit more. Will Wolves have been affected? It's been a fairly unusual week for them. Yeah, they'll say they're concentrating on the game. How much can you really concentrate on the game when all this is going on in the background? But it's difficult for Olympiacos too. So my own personal view, I think Nuno, I think the Wolves have spoken a lot of sense. I mean, I do think this game should have been postponed. I think if there's enough concern, then why have the game? They've decided this game to go ahead before these test results were back. We've got a game in England tonight that's off because Marinakis met some Arsenal players when Olympiacos played. So it just doesn't really make a whole lot of sense why this game is going ahead. I think we all know why it's going ahead. It's because there's a lot of money involved and too much money for it not to go ahead. But it doesn't. I don't think that the situation we handled particularly well by UEFA. But here we are. There's a game. It's going to count.
It's a big game as well.
It's a huge game. I mean, it's a huge game in Wolves' history. The last 16 of Europa League. They've not been. They've not been here for a long time, and huge game. against their toughest opponent yet, which is what you'd expect. It's
Yeah.
the last 16. Olympiacos knocked out Arsenal. They're no mugs, and but Wolves are capable of winning this time. Take all the build-up and the concern and the confusion of that out of it, and they are capable of winning this game. So yeah, it's going to be a weird game, but I think it could be, could be quite a good game, as good as a game can be played in an empty stadium. But that will remain the story, in terms of, for everybody, will be the fact that it's played behind closed doors, and apart from local media like ourselves and fans, the result will take kind of a second interest really to the whole story around this time.
Yeah, and having spoke to the fans, a lot of them are very disappointed, obviously, as you'd expect. And there's a lot of fans who have made the trip knowing that they're not going to be able to get a refund for travel.
No.
They're not going to be able to get a refund for hotels, for trains, for all sorts of stuff. Yes, their match tickets might get refunded, but a fair few fans have made the trip over. They're going to be watching in bars. It's going to be a very strange atmosphere, I think. There'll be no atmosphere whatsoever.
Well, there'll be no atmosphere in the game, I think credit to the fans who have still travelled over.
Yeah.
Look, if you've paid for your flights, your hotels, and you're not going to get a refund, hey, the weather is much nicer out here. It's not, it's a bit chilly at the moment, but it's much nicer than the perma rain we've been getting for the last 4 months in the UK. So I don't blame them. Obviously galling that they can't actually attend the fixture. It'll be interesting to see how many Olympiacos fans are outside the ground tomorrow night. I imagine that would be quite a lot. Wolves fans, look, we are us Midlanders are fairly resourceful people. I'm sure they will make the best of it. It's not going to make up for the fact they can't get into the ground, but this isn't the worst place to be for 48 hours, even if you haven't your main purpose for coming here is no more. The one thing I would say is, if I was a Wolves fan, I would be looking for a Panathinaikos bar to watch this game.
Yeah,
I think there could be a lot of mutual respect gained.
Certainly could.
There could be a lot of in those, but we'll see. It's a bizarre situation. We were sat at home last night having to get up at 3 a.m. to fly, not knowing whether the game's going to go ahead. We've come out here today, expecting to speak to Nuno and a player. We've spoken to nobody from Wolves, and you can't blame them. In normal circumstances, I would be screaming blue murder if a press conference got postponed. I think in these circumstances, I completely understand why the club have done it. And I think you've got to have a lot of time. I think I've got a lot of time for the way they've conducted themselves this week and the way they've approached it.
Yeah, and there's a game, of course, to go ahead, Matt. Last question. Is it important for Wolves, after 90 minutes tomorrow, to just be in the tie? Would you take a draw?
Yeah, I would. I think a draw in an away leg is always a good result, as long as it's not 0-0.
A score draw.
I think a score draw. Score. If Wolves score tomorrow, a 2-1 defeat would not be the end of the world. Hey, look, they could win it, and that'd be great. But you kind of worst case scenario, you want 2-1, a single goal, but having scored. I always think 0-0 first leg, dangerous. Kind of, because if you've not scored away, it only takes one. Yeah, the tie swings in their favour if they score at your place. So, but Wolves have you've got to fancy Wolves scoring. I mean, having said that, I watched Wolves on Saturday, and they never came close to scoring in 90 minutes against Brighton.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what we kind of get from that. But they've saved some good performances for Europe this season, particularly on the road. Yeah, there've been some scrappy performances. I thought they should have beaten Braga. Obviously Espanyol was a bit of a non-event, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's a step up, and I think once the game kicks off, there'll be a match to focus on. It's going to be weird, but fingers crossed they can get the job done.
Right, a big old game tomorrow, albeit with controversy surrounding the build-up. For all the latest on Wolves, make sure you stay expressingstar.com.